This podcast is sponsored by Happy Warrior Kava. Be a happy warrior. Drink, relax, and enjoy the strong and smooth taste of the best-selling kava in the islands. Happy Warrior Kava.
Aloha and welcome to another edition of HNN Overtime, the Hawaii News Now Sports Podcast. I am Kyle Chinen, joined as always by Cienna Pilotin, Davis Pitner. Happy New Year!
Happy New Year! Yay!
What's up, guys?
2024.
I can't believe it.
2024.
My God, that's crazy to say. Isn't it? Did it come by fast?
That was a
like,
quick
what happened
year.
to 2023?
It really did go really quick.
Yeah,
Oh
it
my
really did. I mean, it's a crazy start. It's a big year. Lots of sports
Big
going
year.
on.
I know.
Lots of things happening.
Jeez, I haven't seen you guys since last year.
Oh, Kyle.
So
even though
my
even though
God.
me and Davis were in the office yesterday,
Yeah,
So
just saw
true.
him.
Yeah, it's like we just saw. Yeah. Anyways.
Anyway.
All right, you can stop being funny today.
No, that was good.
No, it wasn't.
I thought it was good.
Thanks, Davis.
No problem.
Any-
2024.
I
2024.
did not think it was good, in case anyone was wondering. Certified hater here. Anyway,
Please. But yes, with the new year comes some new changes, and we are
Yes.
off to a hot start
Good transition.
in the coaching ranks in the University of Hawaii. Obviously, head coach Timmy Chang making some coaching changes ahead of the 2024 season. I'm just going to rattle these off real quick for
Go
y'all.
for it.
We have, he announced the other day that defensive line coach / co-defensive coordinator Cienna, co-offensive coordinator Ian Shoemaker, and defensive backs coach Steve Irvin will be departing the team for the coming season. So opening up the doors. They are currently searching for their replacements right now. And before Hawaii fans kind of start panicking or freaking out, coaching changes in college football tends to happen quite a bit, more than I think people realize. So it's just kind of either coaches leave for a better opportunity, or coaches quite frankly couldn't get the job done and they're moving on to find their replacement to hopefully get that position or that coordinator spot better for the next season.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and I can see how, some fans can be a little bit nervous, a little surprised by this. It definitely is surprising. I mean, none of us really saw this move coming, but in a way, maybe it's a good thing. Maybe we're going to be seeing some things that might work better this year than last year. I mean, let's be honest here. Last year, it wasn't the best season for the Warriors. I mean, we all knew that. Braden Shager, he had an unbelievable year, of course, and it's awesome having him back again. But maybe there needs to be some changes, right? I
Yeah.
mean, maybe there needs to be some changes.
I agree, Davis.
Some numbers really fast. Just with the team last year, just looking back, 4,582 yards in total, 34 touchdowns. Braden, meanwhile, with 3,542 yards, 26 touchdowns. So definitely the run and shoot offense. Timmy Chang did a great job with that. It's going to be very interesting to see who is going to be helping him this coming year and who he chooses.
Yeah, I mean, the name that really okay. So, like Kyle said, turnover is normal in these situations. That's just how college football works. It's a tough business. It's not for the weak. But the name that kind of caught my attention there was Steve Irvin, mainly because he only was here for one season.
Right.
And personally, the DBs, obviously, they had their issues throughout the season. We've talked about it. But I didn't think that they were so bad to the point that it was like one season, we have to let them go. We have to find someone else. Obviously, you expect better from your team and from that position group. So I get that move. But, yeah, I mean, it's just kind of weird that they gave him one season.
Right.
So I'm not sure what went on there, because when Timmy originally came in with his coaching staff, he had a good group of set guys that he brought in. So I'm not quite sure why they went one season and let him go, but it's just kind of the business, I guess.
Yeah. And to your point, I think another one that stands out to me, and I think would stand out to people, would be Ian Shoemaker, the offensive coordinator. let's just be real here. He didn't call plays last season at all.
Yeah.
He came in as 2 seasons ago with Timmy's original staff as the offensive coordinator and the quarterbacks coach. But with the implementation of the run and shoot last season, Timmy took over handling the quarterbacks on a daily basis and made the play calls. So realistically, Ian Shoemaker, as a true OC that he probably is, wasn't necessarily doing much as far as calling plays or handling quarterbacks. So, I mean, it makes sense that now Timmy is probably going to take full command of this offensive unit with the quarterbacks and the play calling. So that one, I think people will get kind of, up in arms about, but it makes sense when you kind of look at who was actually running that offense last season. And I mean, Etienne, I mean, if you look at it, all 3 of these positions have a pretty reasonable explanation. Let's just be real here. The front 4 couldn't stop the run for majority of the season, and that was a big emphasis. I think we talked about it every single week. They'd be getting these big chunk runs, and the front 4 just wasn't getting to the quarterback or just weren't, collapsing those pockets, those holes. So that makes sense. And I agree with Cienna. The Steve Irvin one kind of is kind of puzzling, where he's only 1 year, but we will see what happens with that. So
yeah, I completely agree. I think Ian was a huge surprise, but I wouldn't be as nervous with that, with Timmy, making the calls. I mean, obviously, they had a good offense last year. We saw a lot of success with that. Defense, though, having 2 coaches, Steve Irvin being one of them, and 2 defensive coaches leaving, it kind of makes sense in a way, because I agree with Cienna. Like, they did struggle a lot, and I even put it down in my notes. Just looking at the Colorado State game as one example, they gave up 497 yards in that game alone, and especially to their receiver, Torrey Horton, 9 receptions, 186 yards. I always like giving the stats because it just kind of shows you where they need to improve. Yeah. And that is for sure with the defensive backs and also for the front line too. So I mean, hopefully with these changes, hopefully Timmy finds someone that is able to fulfill those roles and be able to make some big changes to help improve those roles.
Yeah,
so
and
I can't wait to see who takes over.
Yeah, that's the biggest question.
At the edge of my seat.
Yeah. And I think for fans too, it shows that Timmy, I mean, everybody loves Timmy. He's such a nice guy in the community, but he also knows that there's a job to do and he wants his team to get better. And college football is a cutthroat business. If you don't produce either on the field or as a coach, you gotta move on. So I think this shows that yes, they're his friends or the people that he brought in his first staff, but he knows things need to change and things need to change kind of quick. So yeah. I think up and up on that one.
I agree. Lots of changes happening. All right, lots of changes happening in football, but we got to keep going on to UH volleyball now, where there are also a lot of changes. Opening week, season opener for UH men's volleyball. They swept Loyola Chicago.
Yeah, good game. Good first game for them.
Really good first game. A lot of question marks on how they would do, especially graduating 3 seniors. Jakob Tella as a big star who is now gone. Kyle, you were at that game. What was the atmosphere like? Because it always gets crazy in the stand.
I mean, the fans bring it every single time. It doesn't matter who's on the floor, per se. But I think the consensus was a big question mark. Even leading up, going into the week at practice, you're losing 3 people on your lineup, a middle blocker and opposite. And, of course, the setter position with Jakob Tella going on to play pro, leaving UH. Just an all-star in every single regard. But, at times the offense early on looked a bit out of sorts, a little bit sloppy. Following the game, Coach Charlie Wade said offense was okay. But, leading into the week, he was saying, be patient. They're going to figure it out. But, hey, a win is a win, a sweep. And, I think they still have that championship mentality, that high standard to see themselves back in the national tournament at the end of the season. So I think the offense will come along, the new rotation will get more gelled together, and I think things will kind of be business as usual, hopefully.
It's also not a bad turnout for a Wednesday night.
No, yeah,
That's
exactly.
It's pretty good.
And yeah, Hawaii fans love their volleyball, and especially their men's volleyball, because they've been dominant for so long. It'll be interesting to see how well this team does this season. I mean, they're young, they got to figure it out together. It takes time, but with Charlie Wade as their head coach, I don't expect much difference.
Right.
You know?
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Yes, there were a lot of good players in that game, but one that led the team was Spiros. That name sounds familiar because he was a big part of last year's team. Now that Jakob Tella is gone, he was kind of like the guy last year. Spiros is the guy this year, in my opinion. He had 16 kills, 4 digs, and 3 blocks, by far leading the team. I think he is going to be the guy to keep these guys going.
Yeah, he is the floor captain this season, and that senior leadership and that senior mentality as far as being one of the old guard as far as the returning starters. I mean, it's literally just Spiros, Guilherme Voss, and Chaz Galloway. Those are the only 3 from this current lineup that made it all the way to the national championship last year for that runner-up finish against UCLA. So they're kind of leaning on them as far as being the leaders of the group while they're filling in these spots. And I think Guilherme and Spiros are the oldest people on the floor, and I want to pivot to the youngest person on the floor. That is the new setter, someone who is looking to fill the shoes of Jakob Tella, and that is freshman number 13 right there, Tred Rosenthal. He actually he graduated high school early to join the team for this season. He's only 17 years old.
Wow.
And I mean, he's playing beyond his years. He's a USA Juniors national player type guy, and they're still working out the kinks, but he got the start tonight, and I think he showed a lot. And I want to keep talking about some of the new additions to the lineup as well. Filling the other middle blocker spot after the graduation of Cole Hoagland, you have Kurt Neusterer. He is a sophomore. He played sparingly last year, but he's another big addition in the middle. And then for the libero spot, Brett Sheward transferred to UC Irvine. So Farrington grad, local boy, Ileu Choi in the white jersey over there would get the starting nod at libero. And I mean, last night, he was flying. I want to give a shout out to him. He was flying for all these saves, hitting the deck, hitting the splits, really. So he was all over. He's got that energy. And then rounding out the new starters is another local boy, Punahou grad, Alaka'i Todd, who made the switch. He was a middle blocker for the last couple years as a reserve player, but he is the starting opposite right now. So we'll kind of see. But this new lineup seems to be working. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think that's a big we'll see.
Yeah.
Alaka'i Todd, also 7 kills, 8 digs, and 2 aces. This is a really, a lot of young guys coming up. You were just talking about how Spiros and 2 others were, kind of like the old guys on the team, and it's cool to see this young setter come in and hopefully only get better. I mean, Charlie Wade did a great job with Jakob Tella and making him such an elite athlete. You can only hope the same for this guy too, and for all these players, matter of fact.
I think, Charlie was saying, he's not trying to be the next Joe Worsley or the next Jakob Tella, but he's going to carve out his own thing. And he was saying, the offenses that Joe and Jakob ran their freshman year is not the same as the one they ran their senior year. So they're going to evolve, and he's going to get better. And they got another one to cap off opening weekend against Chicago again this weekend.
Oh. All right. Well, we will have to wait and see.
And college football season
Yes.
is almost over. We have one last game this Monday night.
Yeah.
It's going to be a big one, I think.
That's a big one.
It's going to be Washington, which Davis has ties to say the least.
Yeah.
And Michigan, which
see this,
has
Melanie?
been
Clip.
through a lot this season.
Go Huskies.
Definitely. Yeah.
We know what team Davis is on because he has to be.
I
Has
have
to
to.
be.
But I
Hold on, let
don't
me just put this right here.
think
There we
it's
go.
a bad
There we
team
go.
to be on.
It's not.
We have a lot of Huskies fans in our
We
newsroom.
do.
Watts.
We have a
So-
couple of alum
Shout
that
out
rep
to
the
them.
Huskies.
Yeah, this is a big time
Yep.
for them.
Lots of Huskies in the newsroom and lots of Hawaii Huskies
Yeah.
out there too.
there's a lot.
Lots of players on the Husky team. And we got to give a shout out to two of them that were former St. Louis teammates.
Yeah.
Actually.
Full circle moment.
Full circle.
Former teammates now facing off. That's right. You wanna take a crack at this one, Davis?
Oh, you can go for it.
All right. On the left-hand side of your screen, you have Michigan's Roman Wilson, the wide receiver, and on the right side, you have Washington defensive lineman Fa'atui Tuitele. They both played at St. Louis. I believe they were 2019 grads.
Yes.
2019 grads playing. Obviously, they won a state championship and all that. Really, really powerhouse team back in 2019. Find themselves meeting once again, but this time it's not the HHSA state championship. It's not a go-ahead trophy.
Something a little bigger.
It's the college football playoff national championship in Houston. Man, what a full circle moment for these guys. Isn't that crazy?
No, it's so cool. And to see both of these teams, like these are not two teams that you'd expect to see in the championship game. You know, normally it's an Ohio State or an Alabama
Right.
or a Georgia. And to have Michigan and Washington, and there's local boys all over these teams. I mean, especially Washington, there's a lineup of them, including one that is a coach that is a Hawaii-born coach. And so just to see these local boys make it on the big stage, obviously we have the people we want to win and the teams we want to win. But either way, just seeing Hawaii boys make it on a big stage is just big time.
Let me just say, too, I mean, these Hawaii guys on both of these teams, they have been killing it these past seasons for all the years over there. They've been representing Hawaii well. Just want to give a shout out to Roman. I mean, just looking at his stats, he was actually a big reason why Michigan went through to the championship. How they won against Alabama. He put up 4 receptions, 73 yards, and 1 touchdown. That 1 touchdown being a very big key momentum play in that game to win that. And that wasn't just that. I mean, 2023 season too, he has 45 receptions, 735 yards, and 12 touchdowns. So Roman putting up quite the display this past season. He helped this team get to this moment. And even though I'm rooting for Washington, you know, you got to root for this guy too. You got to see him do well.
Yeah, and you know, kind of a undersized guy for a big Power
Kinda
5.
is, yeah.
Power 5 school like Michigan, but you know, he's been producing. I remember back a couple seasons ago when UH had to go down to Michigan. He torched us.
Yeah.
I mean, to be frank, he torched us. But I mean, this also goes to show we kind of were blessed with college football bowl games with the playoffs. Man, crazy games. The Rose Bowl with Michigan and Alabama going to OT, and then Washington and taking on Texas in the Sugar Bowl. I think the committee got it right. I'm gonna put that out there. The committee got it right.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of going off the list, kind of give these guys their flowers too. On the Washington Huskies roster, we have offensive lineman Julius Bulow from Kapolei, and then we have linebacker Zion Tupola Fetui from Pearl City. So a couple of OIA guys representing in
Lots of
the
guys coming
national
out.
championship.
Love to see that too.
Yeah, it's not just the ILH getting some love. It's the OIA as well. And then Cienna mentioned the coach as well on the Washington staff. So it's going to be a fun one.
It's going to be a fun one.
Very,
I mean,
very excited. I'm sad for football to end though.
It is
I know,
sad.
I know.
It's a sad ending, but I think I saw that like ticket sales are going through the roof for this game right now. They're going through the roof. I mean, I was watching the Washington game. I was like forced to due to my wife.
Okay.
But I'm kidding.
It's not the worst thing to be forced
it's
to
not
do.
the worst thing. Which
you
is
got
why
to
I'm
watch
such a
it
big
down to the wire.
I'm such a
exciting
big
football game.
Husky fan.
anyway.
Go
Yeah.
Huskies! And but those were two crazy games, guys. I mean, those were two crazy games. Washington. I thought Texas was gonna honestly score in the end.
Yeah,
I mean,
they had
all
a
those
chance.
mistakes from the Huskies.
Yeah.
We're making it a little close, safe to say, but these are two powerhouses. I want to say I think those are the two best teams.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
I
going
agree. against.
This is a game that I'd rather watch too.
Yeah, exactly. Two undefeated teams. Obviously, Michigan having to go through whatever all that they went through with Coach Harbaugh and all that other drama off the field, and they made it.
Yep.
You know, they were like first round bounces in the playoffs the last 2 seasons, so they finally cracked the code and they're in the Natty. So, man, I can't wait for Monday.
It's gonna be exciting.
Me too.
Moving from the college scene up to the pros, we have one player, another local boy that honestly, he probably didn't like how the college football semifinals turned out for his alma mater, the Alabama Crimson Tide. We were talking about
They'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be all right. Nick Saban was on Pat McAfee show the next day.
Yeah, he
like,
was. Yeah.
He's like, he's not worried about nothing. But the Tide. Roll Tide. But Tua Tagovailoa voted to his very first Pro Bowl. He is noted as the AFC starter, which means he got the most fan votes for any quarterback in the AFC. And kind of looking at this graphic, kind of looking at the quarterbacks here, I mean, it's pretty stacked. You got
It's a pretty
we
stacked
got
group
the
right
one
there.
and only Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick.
And the front runner for MVP, quite frankly, Lamar Jackson, rounding out the AFC. And then up top in the NFC, you have Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, and Matthew
I'm sorry.
Stafford.
The NFC compared to the AFC.
Yeah.
Are
I
you
understand the
kidding me?
Matthew Stafford.
Brock Purdy, Matthew Stafford's 45-year-old, and Dak Prescott.
Yeah. I mean,
That one was a little confusing to me.
and that's the thing with like the
What a
Pro Bowl
lineup.
now. It's all like fan votes. Like you could just
Yeah,
make like
yeah.
votes.
15,000 emails
Yeah.
and someone spammed
For
Matt
sure.
Stafford.
All of Matthew Stafford's daughters voted.
all the Rams
and
fans.
That is why, I mean, crazy. Congrats to Tua. That's huge. And he's surrounded by really good company. But that's just shocking to me that this is what we're allowing. But it's okay. Those guys will have fun
Right.
playing dodgeball. And
I think,
That's the most
whatever
important sport in
pickleball
the
they
Pro
make.
Bowl,
Yeah,
I think.
the AFC quarterbacks are going to flame the NFC in the flag football tournament. Oh, my goodness. But, yes, he's the first Hawaii-born Hawaii quarterback
Yeah.
to make it to a Pro Bowl. And, you know, he's had a lights-out season so far this year, 4,451 yards, 28 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. He is a gunslinger, so that tends to happen. He has a 58.8 QBR. That is 13th in the league. We were talking about the NFC quarterbacks. Brock Purdy, he is first right now in QBR. And in his career, Tua has thrown for over 12,000 yards with 80 touchdowns.
That's crazy.
He is, you know, pass-happy team, and especially this year because his number one target also a Pro Bowler in his own right. Tyreek Hill, 112 receptions. 1,717 yards and 12 TDs. Him and so Tyreek and Tua, they make up two of the 6 members of the Miami Dolphins who were selected
that's
to the
right.
Pro Bowl. So, I mean, they're looking to lock up the AFC East this weekend against the Beals and the Beals. So yeah, I mean, great accolades for this guy, but obviously I think, you know, as much as he's grateful to be in the Pro Bowl, I think he wants to be in a different bowl a week after the Pro Bowl.
Yeah. I think so too. I mean, like we were just talking about, you know, college and athletes representing Hawaii. Tua's been doing an unbelievable job. I mean, we've had other athletes in the NFL also represent Hawaii, but I mean, Tua's just taking it to a whole nother level. I mean, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, obviously, heading to the Pro Bowl. Fans think so too. It's, without a doubt, he's having one of his best seasons, throwing to Tyreek, which I was happy about this entire season because he's on my fantasy team. So thank you, Tua, for that. Quick shout out. But no, I mean, once again, big congrats to him. I think it's well deserved. And I guess we'll have to see what happens with the Dolphins.
Yeah, they could lock up the AFC title or AFC West title and help them with seeding. And I mean, the AFC playoffs this year, more wide open or kind of unpredictable than, say, in years past. I mean, the NFC is more locked up right now as far as seeding goes than the AFC. So this, we are sad that college football is ending, but we do have more NFL.
We do have
going
more
into February.
NFL. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Well, real quick, since you mentioned your fantasy team, give the people your fantasy name, your team name one more time.
Just because we said it earlier.
Yeah.
It's get ready for it. Tua B or not Tua B?
I think that's really clever.
I think that was pretty good.
No, that is
I didn't even
That's a
have
good
Tua
one.
on my team. It's like,
Yeah, okay.
I had Tyreek Hill, which is why,
That
I
is good, though.
wanted to support Tua, to
Support
keep throwing
Tua.
to my
Yes,
receiver.
Exactly. Who else
See?
is going to throw
See?
to him? You need someone to.
All right, guys, it is a new year, which means we have to talk about New Year's resolutions. And before we get to that, I think we have to talk about one resolution that we already know is on everyone's list. That's eating healthy and being on a diet, everyone. And, well, what's the best diet, you may ask?
What is it, Davis?
Well, Kyle, I'll tell you.
No.
It's the Mediterranean diet.
Interesting.
For the seventh year in a row, the U.S. News and World Report named it the best overall diet. The Mediterranean diet also ranked first in the categories of easiest diets to follow. Best family-friendly diet, best diet for healthy eating, and best diet for diabetes, bone and joint, and heart healthy eating. The diet features simple plant-based cooking with the majority of each meal focused on fruits and vegetables, whole grains, beans, and seeds. It also includes a few nuts and a heavy emphasis on extra virgin olive oil.
Oh.
Eating healthy, oily fish, which are packed with omega-3 fatty acids, is encouraged. Well, yes, Mediterranean diet. There you have it, guys. Your thoughts? What do you think of this?
Participating.
Oh, okay.
I'm all for the losing weight diet in the new year. We're all for that. I don't care for much of the food that you described. I don't like fish, first of all. You guys know this about me, especially Kyle, because he gets Pokeballs a lot, and I'm just waiting in the corner like, all right, what am I getting for lunch? Normally like tofu or salad. Sorry, but that's kind of what my routine is. If I could have mac and cheese for lunch,
I knew it.
I would, but I can't eat mac and cheese every day. It's just not good for me. Anyway, but yeah,
not good
I don't
for
like
anyone.
it.
It's not good for anyone.
You're right.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But yeah, I don't like fish, so I don't think this diet would be great for me. I also don't like olives or nuts.
Yeah.
So
I'm not, I mean,
oil.
just a bowl of extra virgin olive oil.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of olives either. And yeah, the Mediterranean fish is not a fillet of fish from McDonald's. So, I mean, it's not my diet. But I mean, it's interesting. I've had Mediterranean food. It's pretty good, but I didn't realize that it was, I just assumed because of like all the oils and stuff in it. Yeah. Like just to finish the dish, they just raw extra virgin olive oil. Yeah, it's drenched.
Yeah.
Like what is it, like Mediterranean salads? It's like the salad
is
like it's a soup.
It's drenched in oil.
It's a soup.
Yeah, it's drenched in oil.
Right. So I'm just like,
for sure.
Like
me neither. But yeah, it's interesting that this is
the top 7th year in a row.
I know why it's healthy. Like, it makes sense from a diet nutritionist perspective. I just don't think it's realistic for the average person.
Right. I think so too. Yeah. I mean, plus olive oil is expensive. I mean, that's a lot of,
especially like the real stuff.
The real stuff, yes.
Not the Costco stuff that I have in my house.
I'd be using the Costco stuff too.
I'd be using the shaking.
Can.
Yeah.
The can.
I'm not I'm not I'm not
The
Gordon
environment, Kyle.
I'm not Gordon Ramsay. I'm not gonna be like tilt the pan, oil. I'm literally I can't even. Cienna knows I can't even use an oven correctly. So
This is true.
yes, we will be better, but interesting
Stay
diet.
tuned for our cookbook, though. We will be having
Yeah,
a
so we will.
2024, big up 2024.
Yes. Diets. I don't know if I'll be sticking with the Mediterranean diet, but that moves us on to our New Year's resolutions. And I know for myself, I'll just start.
Yeah,
you
go
know,
ahead.
definitely. Eating healthy, I would say, is a big one, especially after the Christmas dessert season.
Yeah.
And after, it's always after, like, you have Thanksgiving, you're like, oh man, I ate too much, and then you're like, okay, I'll stop, and then you hit like Christmas in December, and then you're like, oh man, I'm still eating like terribly.
Yeah.
And then it's
and then
like
you hit New Year's Eve.
then you hit
Yeah.
New Year's,
Yep.
and all the aunties and uncles, they all bring that kalbi, that
mochi.
steak, mochi.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh wow, this is January.
Yep.
We got to
January
make
1st.
changes. So that is my goal. Hit that gym more and healthier diet, but I don't know. We'll see. That's my goal.
That's
I think
good,
it.
Davis.
That's a good one. Yeah.
That's just me. What about you guys?
I mean, Cienna,
wanna
you ready?
go?
Are you
Well,
ready?
I mean, I am ready. Mine is to sleep more throughout the week.
Ooh,
I feel that.
I think, I mean, I think everyone in this office / everyone watching probably agrees. But yeah, definitely get more sleep, less TikTok and Instagram and Netflix late
Valid,
at night.
yeah.
I'd just be up scrolling. So put my phone away, get to bed.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
That
And
is
I
a good
won't
one.
hate myself in the morning. So we'll see how long that lasts. It's hard,
Yeah.
but I do want to sleep more.
You strong. You got this. You got this.
It's hard.
It is definitely
It's
hard.
Yeah.
Because like I mean, we be sending TikToks to each other at like 1 in the
It's
morning.
addicting.
It's
Oh my
so
God.
addicting. Like, hey, check out this funny video. It's 1 a.m.
At 1 a.m.
Okay.
Oh my God.
But no, that's a good one as well. I will say back to the whole New Year's thing.
Yeah.
And Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's
Yeah.
hard, especially here in Hawaii, because if you go to a function, you go to a party,
Yeah.
you're not only eating like 3 plates there, they're giving you like an entire pan
bring
full of
home.
leftovers.
Oh, yeah.
So that
Yeah, yeah.
lasts you throughout the rest of the week. So you're just like, I'm supposed to be on my diet. I'm
Yeah.
supposed to be getting,
Our
leveling up.
refrigerator was full
Oh,
Right.
of like
I know, it's
just
so good,
food.
but so
You don't have to
bad.
cook for a
Everything.
week.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I mean, I will say my resolution this year has it's pretty much the same as yours, Davis. Go back to the gym and, start eating healthier. I mean, personally for me, I kind of stopped going to the gym towards the back end of the football season last year, like for the high school football season. And like just with the going to games constantly, I was just like, I'll be all right. But then towards the end of the year, I'm like, oh, no, I'm actually not all right. So I'd like to not still play center. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
That's
like
my
to
mentality.
not-
You gotta get out of that offensive lineman.
Right, it's like
It
we-
goes back to y'all.
Exactly. Like we don't need to be offensive linemen no more. So, go back to the gym, start eating healthier. Cause I mean, when you go to these games and stuff, only thing open is McDonald's. So like you
That's
just be
so
hitting the
true.
Yeah.
drive through.
Yep.
I will say I made the resolution at the beginning of the year and I've stuck to it for 4 days.
4 days.
Today and yesterday I had cauliflower rice, ground
wow.
turkey,
Look
and
at you.
broccoli.
Kyle.
I doused it in
wow.
Cholula though, but that's
No,
neither
that's
here
good,
nor
though.
there.
That's good.
So are
That's
you on your
good.
meal prep?
I'm on my meal prep era a little bit.
4 days in.
4 days
Meal
in.
prep era.
Meal prep era, 4 days in. Call me Jelani Martinez the way I be eating, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
But honestly, no, yeah. Let's see how long that lasts. But I think so far so good. And back to the whole oven thing we were talking about in the last segment. I got the oven to work because, like, I went to Costco the other day,
Oh,
and I had
oven.
those stuffed peppers.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one
Oh,
thing.
we
The
know.
last time it came out frozen, but this time they were fully cooked.
Came out just right.
Just
Yeah, those
right.
are good.
So those are like my dinners, and then I make the lunch. So like meal prep era,
Yeah,
Meal
yeah.
prep. I mean, that's good.
done.
I have a hard time because every time I like have a good day or I'll just have a good week, and then like after one hard day, like a hard news day, crazy, breaking news happens, and I'm like, I deserve a treat.
Yes,
That's what my always
exactly.
thing is. What will be my treat? And it's not good, but I think it's natural. Everybody does it.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I'm just
100%.
I need a treat.
Yeah,
my day.
everybody deserves a treat day or a cheat
got
day,
it.
whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I mean, but it was a problem for me. Like after, not even like an exciting football game. I'm just shooting football
It's
on
hard.
a Friday night. I'm like, I worked a lot. I'm gonna treat myself.
deserve it.
Yeah, it's
To
hard, like,
double cheeseburgers.
working those
Yeah.
that shifts because we would shoot football really
Yeah,
late at
yeah.
night, and Davis as well, and like nothing's open. You're
Mm-hmm.
like, all right, I got like
Yeah,
3 options.
yeah.
It's all fast food, and by then it's like 11.
Mm-hmm.
We work the next day at like 9, so it's like I gotta go home, get to bed, so I need
Right.
something quick,
Yeah.
and it's just not good. But it's part of it.
Yeah.
And we are gonna try and be better.
I'm deleting my
Absolutely.
Uber Eats app.
Oh,
I've
no.
done it.
Eats app?
I've done
No,
it.
I can't do that. I'm
That
not
one,
doing
that one, because I mean, for me, like Cienna said, you get home and then you're just like, because you don't want to wait in line or you don't want to go into a drive-through. You just want to go home, lay back, and then you're hungry, so you're just like, Uber Eats, Zippies, please. And then you having to
Zippies is always the fallback.
you just
You have to.
tiptoe your way outside
So
of
good.
Yeah.
tiptoe your way outside of your door, and you're like, hey, thanks, have a nice night.
Oh, I don't say hey thanks.
Oh,
You
you're
best leave it at that.
you're
right
you're
time.
a delivery
leave
at
it.
the door.
No contact.
No.
I just don't want to talk to you, and you don't want to talk to me.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, we
Yeah.
will be
We'll
strong.
work
We'll
on
be
it.
better for 2024.
We'll talk
And
next
Sleep,
week.
Yeah, we will
sleep
talk
and
next
eating
week.
right.
Yeah, sleep and eating right. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how we do a week from now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, guys, I think that just about wraps up this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys so much again for listening or watching this episode of HNN Overtime. To check out any of our previous episodes, you can head to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get the rest of our HNN podcasts. Be sure to check out the video version on our YouTube channel, the HNN YouTube channel, and be sure to follow HNN Overtime on Instagram. That's at HNN Overtime, no spaces. No spaces. For Cienna Pilotin, Davis Pitner, I'm Kyle Chinen. Thanks so much for listening and watching. Aloha.
This podcast is sponsored by Happy Warrior Kava. Be a happy warrior. Drink, relax, and enjoy the strong and smooth taste of the best-selling kava in the islands. Happy Warrior Kava.